Hey guys, how are you doing?
So good.
How are
How are
you?
you?
I'm doing great. So to start with a show like this, one of my favorite things is the running joke is about Final Girls. And so I wanted to know, do you guys have any favorite Final Girls? And if so, how did they kind of help you when coming into the second season of Pretty Little Liars Summer School?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. It really is. I don't know why I'm blinking so much. I mean, like, of course, love the Scream series. Oh gosh, is it Naomi? Sydney Prescott. Sydney Prescott. Buzzer. I'm buzzing in. Sydney Prescott.
Perfect. I love it. Jordan, do you have a favorite Final Girl?
Um, yeah, I think, I think Scream does an incredible job of rotating through so many incredible female characters, honestly. It's like every Scream, there's like three or four of them, and they just don't stop. So if I'm not allowed to say our own show with all of these amazing final girls, then I would say every woman who's in this Scream series.
That's a perfect answer. What I love about Roberto's work, because I'm not only a Riverdale fan, but I'm a huge American Psycho fan, is that he manages to kind of bring this campiness to the like horror stories that he's bringing to life. When you guys were working with him on a show like this, what is your favorite aspect of kind of marrying the two genres together to create that like mystery creepiness that exists in the Pretty Little Liars world while still being that campy, fun high school thing that we all kind of like to flock to?
Yeah, I think we both and we all feel so supported because we got the biggest horror nerds in all of LA, all of the country to helm create this and write the show. Lindsay and Roberto both are just incredibly well knowledged when it comes to all things horror, and I've learned so much from them. And there's of course the classics, and we have gore horror and slasher, but then there's also like cool indies that they've also weaved into this entire universe. Um, for example, like I know my storyline is loosely inspired by We're All Going to the World's Fair, which is an incredible horror movie. And so it's really beautiful to like get to play with and pay homage to all genres of horror and thriller and mystery, and also while dealing with these, of course, like very sensitive and real important topics. And I think from the beginning, they've always talked about like horror through the female gaze and having a through line about like these internal and external horrors of what it means to be a teenage girl or a teenager period. And I've got to learn a lot about the genre, but also a lot about what it means to be a young woman through the show, and I feel really grateful for that.
Yeah, and Jordan, what is your favorite part about trying to like exist within those two genres and create characters that are so iconic on their own right in that world?
Yeah, I think horror is inherently campy. It's like every single one has a trope, right? And it's always like, oh, like silly girl, like, and then like having sex with guy, and then like, oh, like he comes in and they get murdered. And it's like that is funny and campy. Unfortunately, they are dying, but it's funny. And I think it makes it really easy when you have Roberto and Lindsay who are knowledgeable horror buffs who write it in so seamlessly and like Malia said, tied into real life things that happen that are horrible. Um, and they do a really good job of marrying the two and bouncing back and forth between those two. I think it's particularly fun that our show is from the female gaze. So all of those maybe funny things that like a woman would typically do in a horror film now falls on the guys. So like when Ash gets to like be like, I got it. I'm gonna go look outside. And it's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, there's definitely somebody outside that's gonna kill you. Um, when normally that would be probably a girl doing that. Or like, like Greg trying to find himself and like have all these different layers that like normally probably a female would do. And it's fun to watch and funny at the same time.
And with Pretty Little Liars, I am a millennial, so I watched that original series when it was on. But it was so connected to music from like that theme song that everyone knows, and then the music's on the show. And then I like that there's like it continues. But for you guys, both as actors, did you either come up with playlists for your characters or have a song that you were like, yes, this is their song that they would listen to either like hype them up or like if they're that scared to calm them down?
Totally. Can I just say real quick that like having the Pretty Little Liars theme song and have my face pop up or my name or just be a part of the Pretty Little Liars theme song is so cool, and they've done such amazing renditions every season. But yeah, you're actually talking to the king of playlists right here. I don't know if he's on my right or left, but I definitely felt very inspired by Jordan. I love working with music, but I think just as a tool for immersing ourselves and also being able to like tell our love story through the other, communicating through music was like a really interesting layer to exploring these characters. You know, like Jordan would find a song and he'd send it to me, and I was like, oh, I'm understanding Ash's internal dialogue a bit better. Maybe I'd send him a song too, and it would really like fill our playlist and also just like our the palette we can color these characters with. But I'll let the music king speak on that more.
Yeah, one of the first things that I do when creating a character is building a playlist because I am such an audio person when immersing myself in the world. And I remember, when we did the chase scene in season one through the maze, I was listening to Rob Zombie over and over and over and over until I was sick in the head, to try to get me in that space. And, similarly to what Malia said, there's a lot on there that has a lot to do with his love for Mouse. This season, a majority of that playlist is how he feels about her and where they are at in their relationship. And it's a fun thing to listen to because it is a journey. Because once you start it in the beginning of the season to where like you maybe add more songs collaboratively throughout, and to listen to it from beginning to end is you can hear a story within it, which is
Hmm.
really cool.
I know. I listened to my season one recently, and I was like almost tearing up. I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, because yeah, there is such a visceral emotional response there. So great, amazing question. Love that.
Thank you guys so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait for everyone to get to see season two.
Thank you,
Thank
Rachel.
you, Angel.